Next step, right, he needs to be where, hands out by the sides. I'd like to get him scooted just a little bit forward so his feet are in contact with the floor. Now he's got even more points of contact with stable surfaces. Next up, I'm gonna put this gait belt on. Have you guys used gait belts yet? Not yet? Oh, perfect. All right, so we have a side with teeth on it and then a side that's smooth. We're gonna go teeth side first. So we'll wrap this around our patient. Teeth side first. Snug it up, and then we're gonna feed it back through the smooth side. Now, when we're seated, we want this to be really snug. I should have to wiggle my hand in to get my hands to fit. Because as soon as he stands up, it will loosen up. Because when we're seated, everything's compressed, right? But then when we stand up, everything goes where it's supposed to. So if everything's compressed here, if I start loose, once we stand up, it's gonna be even looser. So it should be, snug but not painful, but yeah, that's it. And I should have to wiggle my hand in, okay? It shouldn't just be slipping in easy. Now, anytime we use a gait belt, we want our palms facing up. Can you stand up for one second? So, I want my palm facing up because if he starts to fall, go ahead and start to fall, I'm gonna catch that gait belt really easily. If my palm is like this, hold on, stand up. The gait belt's gonna slip out of my hand. Don't go all the way down, okay? All right, so if he starts to fall, my hand is like that, it can easily slip out of my hand, and now I got nothing on him, right? So we always wanna be here. Please feel how much that loosened up already. Yeah. Crazy, right? All right, let's go back now. All right, so in my setting, I've got my patient there. Part of my setup is I want everything within arm's reach of me. So that way I can grab him and do whatever else I need in that process, okay? Now, part of my setup too is I would already have changed how I need to move this wheelchair around. So my first step is to be removing this side panel. Right hip is the problem? Yeah. All right, go. So my first step would be removing the side panel, and I also want to remove the leg rests. The inexperienced practitioner, or the practitioner that wants to rush everything, is going to think that they can just swing the legs to the side and be okay. I will tell you, anytime that's ever happened, it's gone wrong. Someone will bump into this. Either I'm gonna bump into this and scrape my leg, patient's gonna bump into and scrape the leg, it's gonna swing out, something's gonna hit it, and it's gonna swing out and lock its place, and if I do that in the middle of my transfer, now we're unsafe. So the best thing you can do is remove these and keep them close by so that you can access them when you need it. All right, so my first setup, once I got my patient here, I get to hold on and I get to position my wheelchair here. Now, I want as little bit of a gap between the wheelchair and the table as I possibly can. Again, my question to myself is always, for every single treatment I ever do, is what can go wrong and how can I minimize that? So if I had a big window here, I call this gap a little window here, what can go wrong? If we're gonna go wrong, he's gonna go wrong there, right? And I can't help him there. So if I cut that window down, now can we go wrong?
Only near you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be guarding him like this, so we're gonna go wrong. We're gonna stay on the bed, we're gonna land in the chair, we might land on a tire and have to kind of like haul him over, and hey, you know what? That was okay, but if he falls on the floor that way, I can't help him, right? So what can go wrong and how can we minimize that? So as tight of an area there as possible. All right, so who should be doing all of the work? Patient always. So the inexperienced clinician, and this happens all the time with students, is the student ends up trying to place the board for them, but our goal is always to get our patient what? More independent, right? So part of the transfer is handing this to my patient and them doing it. So, patient, this is what's called a slide board. We have little flat, little angled pieces that we get to slide along that. We have little holes here. That's gonna help you hold on to this and put it underneath of your rear end. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna shift your weight all the way this way. You're gonna take this, and I want you to push this all the way underneath your rear end as possible. The other end will aim towards the chair. Perfect. That's it. Good. Nice. And then we'll angle this over here. Okay? Now, the high-low table, we can get the heights of this really accurate. The high-low table's back there. We can get the height of this a little bit better. This is a little uneven for my like, but for demonstration purposes, is the best place for all of us to see. So just something for you guys to think of. All right. So we are now able to do the slide board transfer. So let's back up one step. If he couldn't place a slide board underneath of him, what do we do?
Lay him down?
No. Work on that. Work on that. It might be because he needs better seated balance, because as soon as he starts going that way, he starts to fall. Okay, so we gotta work on seated balance. Maybe he needs to, quadratus lumborum, we need to strengthen a little bit more so we can pull that pelvis up. Maybe it's just the friction of the table and I just need to help push it under a little bit more. And that's okay, right? So go ahead and put it under a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. All right. So, again, we want to do as little work as possible as therapists, okay? So make sure that patient works everything. All right, so lean away from, place the board as far under the buttocks as possible. Now we're going to keep your hands flat. I do not want you reaching over the edge, and I don't want you reaching in here. So nothing under here, because once we start moving, that board is gonna go down, and you don't wanna pinch your fingers. We got other problems if we do that, okay? All right, next up, all transfers. If able, we are going to transfer to the strong side. Okay, so that's why I have to start transferring to his left, because his right side is the problem. Two reasons for that. One, you're gonna have greater physical ability. The patient's gonna have greater physical ability to transfer that way. The other thing is, I get to protect the weak, injured, painful side better. I have trouble protecting this side because it's away from me. Everything is in the way. I can't access that. This leg I got. Okay? All right, so transferring to the strong side, all of our transfers is preferred. Guarding the injured side for the therapist is always preferred. And then, all right, so we've got, make sure you don't curl your hands. All we're gonna do is you're gonna press up, and you're gonna just bump or slide your rear end across the board. Now, day one, this is probably gonna take us a lot of time. We're just gonna go nice and slow. Once we get good at this, it's gonna take you one or two bumps and you'll be fine, okay? So, I'm gonna hold on to the belt, I'm gonna get really close to you, I'm gonna protect this painful side to you, and all we're gonna do is just keep bumping across until you start landing into this chair. Because of the height difference, it will teeter-totter just a little bit, okay? All right, I have to have wide base of support, I have to have short arms, so I am going to get heartbeat to heartbeat with him. It is going to be really, really close.
Is that wheelchair locked? Sorry.
It is locked, yep.
Oh.
Thank you for
Just
double checking.
checking.
No, absolutely, yeah. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do, for you guys that can see it, my leg is acting like a wall to his injured side. That is gonna help provide an extra layer of safety. It's gonna help, if I need to, I get to push with my leg a little bit, but it's just going to give us both an extra layer of protection. My mechanics, I don't have a ton of space here, and that's okay. I like to point 1 foot to the patient and point 1 foot towards the direction we're going. If I can do that, I'm gonna make sure I don't rotate my spine. I'm gonna be able to pivot with my hips. So the difference is, if everything's pointed to my patient, if I need to start helping him to see that big rotation, right? But if I'm pointed to where we're going, now I'm just pivoting within my base of support and I don't have to worry about my spine rotating at all, okay? So, when able, point one to the patient, one to the direction we're going. All right, do you understand what we're gonna do? What are we gonna do?
We're gonna try to press like this and scooch my butt down into the chair.
Good, and what's the number one safety thing you have to be aware of?
Don't grip.
Perfect. One last thing, you guys see this dangling here? Right, so that might be a problem. I don't want that to be a problem, so I'm just gonna tuck that in a little bit. All right, you ready? All right, when you're ready, first bump, go ahead. Good, good, how you feeling?
Doing good.
Good. Good job. All right, now you can lean away and take the board out. Good. All right, feel good? All right, now I'm gonna back you out, I'm gonna unhook, and I'm gonna put the leg rest on, side panel on, and then we're gonna